The head of a Welsh engineering firm said recently that engineers who come to work for him can't write simple reports. The ability to present something logically in writing or orally, to read and understand, to synthesize different kinds of information, to analyze and interpret and then communicate, these are the skills that PISA tests, and a good education should deliver them. These are employability skills. What matters most, of course, is what happens in the classroom. Teaching quality matters. We need to harness the existing leadership. Teaching makes a difference. Leadership of schools makes a difference. The setting of high aspirations for all, the focus on every individual, the delivery of performance, all young people able to read and write at the standard for their age. I expect all teachers to be teachers of literacy. PISA has demonstrated that our classrooms are not delivering for our young people. Too few are able to apply the skills we are learning. We need to look again at initial teacher training and at continuous professional development, but we will be more prescriptive. Things need to change, and change fast. In their recent report on how the world's most improved school systems keep getting better, McKinsey noted that the impetus to start school system reforms resulted from one of three things: the outcome of a political or economic crisis, the impact of a high-profile critical report on the system's performance, or the energy and input of a new political or strategic leader. Well, at least two of those three factors apply to Wales. Never waste a crisis. We speak a lot about the rights of children and young people in the National Assembly for Wales. Children and young people have a right to expect high-quality teaching and that their schools are delivering high standards. Change will require collective action. As John Cotter, Professor of Leadership at Harvard Business School, puts it in his book Leading Change, a strong guiding coalition is always needed for change to take place. Professor Michael Fullan talks of the need for collective capacity to change. Collective capacity, he says, is what happens when groups get better: school cultures, district cultures, and government cultures. So we look to work with leaders across the education system in Wales to ensure that we change for success. To start with, we will create some clear targets. We should aim to be in the top 20 of school systems measured in the PISA scores in 2015. In other words, the PISA scores after next. But we will be aiming for improvements in 2012 over the 2009 results. This is not an alternative to improving GCSE results. We need to increase performance, including performance in English, Welsh, and maths, and reduce variation across the system. Second, we need to recognise the scale of the challenge. Ours is not a good system aiming to become great. Ours is a fair system aiming to become good. And that requires honesty and clarity from all involved. For systems moving from fair to good, there has to be a significant amount of central input to ensure standards are being upheld. School systems moving from good to great can afford to free up their systems. We are not in that state, so we are going to have more direct central input. We know what works. We also know that we have best practice within Wales. It is time that best practice was shared and applied across the whole of Wales. So here are the actions we are going to take immediately. First, performance will be our driver. In line with my focus on better implementation, fewer initiatives, and keeping it simple, no new initiatives will be approved unless they add value to our demand for higher performance. Resources will be reprioritised accordingly. Thirdly, the foundation phase, which is fully rolled out from this September and which introduces children to learning through doing, will not be allowed to lead to a reduction in literacy. The baseline assessment will provide us with the floor and will be supported year on year with continuous assessment. We will address variability in teaching practice. Fourthly, as part of our national literacy plan, we will introduce a national reading test which will be consistent across Wales and will be designed to ensure that far fewer pupils are falling behind their designated reading age. The plan will also include a focus on 7 to 11-year-olds and catch-up reading programmes, as well as stretching those pupils at the highest abilities. By the 2012 to 13 academic year, we will have developed similar plans for numeracy. Sixth, we will expect all local authorities to ensure that Key Stage 2 teacher assessments are robust and consistent with the nationally defined standards, especially in respect of literacy. I'm pleased that the Association of Directors of Education in Wales, ADU, has signed up to this. Seventh, we will look to integrate PISA assessments into school assessment at 15. We will ask all schools to work with their Year 8 and 9 students who will face PISA next time and work with them on their skills. Eighth, we will ensure that all teachers and head teachers have appropriate levels of literacy and numeracy as part of their professional accreditation. Ninth, I've asked officials to examine whether we can revise initial teacher training so that it becomes a 2-year master's course with more classroom practice so that teachers are familiar with advanced teaching skills. They will examine whether this can become the standard entry qualification for teaching in Wales. There will be a statutory requirement on all qualifying teachers to be trained in literacy and numeracy. All new ITT entrants will have been required to pass literacy and numeracy skills tests on entry and exit. One inset day per year will be focused on literacy and numeracy assessment for all teachers. 10th, we will introduce a national system for the grading of schools, which will be operated by all local authorities or consortia. I am pleased that the Association of Directors of Education in Wales has confirmed that all consortia will operate this model. All schools will be graded annually. Schools will be expected to reach certain floor targets, an absolute standard below which no school in Wales will fall, and will also be expected to operate progress targets for all pupils, so that all students make 1 year of educational progress each calendar year. All schools will produce an annual public profile containing performance information to a common format. They will also be expected, in a school development plan endorsed by their governors, to set out how they will reach improved standards of educational performance based on aspirational targets we will set for the education system in Wales. 11th point is in relation to Estin's new common inspection framework. This is beginning to bite. Where a school is found by Estin to be failing, and I regard the situation as irredeemable, I will close it. 14th point relates to data. Use of data is critical to performance. From next year, no school will pass an Estin inspection unless it can demonstrate that its governing body has discussed the family of schools data and other relevant performance data and has set in place actions to improve its position. There is a formidable agenda ahead of us in respect of schools alone. There will, in future, be no hiding place for poor performance. In my department, performance will drive every aspect of what we are doing. There will be a single focus. We will raise standards. We will provide opportunities for all to learn to the best of their ability. Our young people deserve better, and I believe that we can deliver.